In this episode, Furry convention in Atlanta raising $100,000 for charity, spotlight on several awesome women in the fandom, and how accessible is our fandom truly, animators working together, and much more. And of course, stay until the end of the episode to hear who has won an item of their choice in my lovely Paws collection in my Artwork Tees store, right after the series of lovely interviews from some amazing ladies from the furry fandom about their experience here, and including how accessible we truly are for someone with a disability. But first, let's dig into this month's charities. From Portland, USA, we have Furcationland, where 1,210 lovely snoots have raised $10,284.13 for the Short Fox for Hope Foundation. This is a lovely initiative by cancer survivor Kristen Short, dedicated to give support to families who have to deal with the impact of a cancer diagnosis and everything that entails. 1,421 awesome friends in Australia visited Furry Down Under and raised $11,388.45 for Fresh Start Rescue, a non-profit organization devoted to finding new homes for cats and dogs. And the visitors from Garden State for the weekend have gathered $6,157.30 for the Pipsqueakery. As the name suggests, it is an animal rescue devoted for our smaller friends, like rabbits, rats, and more, striving to find forever homes for those cute little fuzzies after they are found healthy and adoptable. After sending their friends through their trials of fire, Bandit Raccoon took up the challenge themselves, acing all the rounds, battling through spicy ramen, raising $200 for ALS, ending their spicy arc with a grand total of $760 raised. Over 15,000 critters attended in Furry Weekend Atlanta, making some insane memories while raising an absolute amazing $100,000 for Lost and Found Youth, an organization dedicated to end homelessness for all LGBTQ+ youth by supporting them wherever they can to enable them to live independently. Now, with large gatherings, like Furry Weekend Atlanta, of course, you have your fair share of incidents. No matter what kind of convention, they do happen. Trust me, the stuff that goes on behind closed doors with manager conventions. However, at Furry Weekend Atlanta, Ricebarks, who tried to be helpful, but the individual who he tried to help was... What? Okay, so Ricebark got his finger bitten off. Charges have been pressed. The GoFundMe currently sits at $2,651. Kinora is no stranger to this show. He has this wonderful initiative called Let's Change the World Together, and I had the pleasure to help him with the latest episode, donating $2,800.85 to the Cat Boat in Amsterdam, a very unique, albeit necessary, floating cat shelter in downtown Amsterdam. And with this all, the charities covered by Digging Up Positivity this year have broken the $600,000 mark, raised worldwide for charities by members of the furry fandom. Especially after the plague, we seem to have gone into overdrive. Furry conventions are being visited more than ever, and the growth does not show any sign of stopping. The Guinness Book of Records lists the current largest mascot dance at 134 people, but Studio 643 from Japan did break this at GMOF, Japan Meeting of Furries, with 300 people. Group dances are vastly more popular in Asia, where in the West solo dances and dance battles are much more focused upon. As by recording of this video though, the attempt has not been ratified yet, but I sure hope to do, and I will cover it when it does. At our end of the pond, in the Netherlands, we were completely swept up by Europapa. Joost Klein truly is a phenomenon here, and it was just a matter of time before a furry version got made. Laser the Shark Fox answered the call with Furopapa. And it's not just any version, the lyrics are changed too.
Mijn dogs en cats of neem een one-on-one panel. Ik wil weg uit Normie World, maar ik zie geen ene kennel. Heb gelukkig geen fursuit nodig om furry te zijn. Dus neem een QR-code met een linkje van mij.
It has been a while since Lackadaisy surprised us with an amazing pilot based on that amazing comic, but they have not been sitting still. Besides the provided glimpses of them working hard behind the curtains, they do release periodic shorts. Ingenue is one of them, releasing this month even, and they placed a beautiful trailer online teasing the release. It is often that animators of all walks of life band together online to create projects together. One of them is called Nothing Less to Lose, based upon the webcomic Africa. Projects like these do not just provide an opportunity to grow as an individual animator, to reach a network, but also to gain experience not just for animating, but also to set up a big project like this, and with results that we all can enjoy. Do check out this wonderful video clip about what hatred can do to a person. Truly chilling stuff. Speaking of independent animation, recently Mongo Paladin released Celine and Cheswick. The animation is an homage to the animation style of the 90s, starring Celine the cat and Cheswick the dog, who are going on a midnight binge for some food. But will it have consequences? Oh yes, but it is not what you may think. Last month we had Ink from Ireland in the show, and we banded together to interview several awesome women in the fandom from all walks of lives, and including some with disability, talking about their experiences. Without Ink, this segment would not be possible, but before we start to thank everybody, let's hear it for these ladies.
My name is Lady Nightlight. I've been a part of the fandom since 2017. I have been a furry ever since I was tiny, by definition of I was very interested in anthropomorphic characters and video games, but I only found the word furry in 2017 when I went to a convention years ago, and I saw my first fursuit, and I was just enamored. I can't remember who it was back then, but I was just blown away, and I was like, I want that. But I looked at the prices and I was like, okay, I can't afford that right now. I'm trying to put myself through college. I'll make my own. And so I made my very first fursuit, and I used the excuse of it's a Halloween costume, it's a werewolf, just to test the waters and see how it was. And everyone was really inviting and open and welcoming, like, to seeing my werewolf costume. And that's when I found Telegram, and I started talking to people in the Irish furry fandom for the very first time. Just made so many great friends in there, and they always encouraged me to continue in my furry pursuits, and so I did while I was studying in university. And long story short, it's now my full-time job. I am now a full-time fursuit maker and furry artist, and the very first official fursuit maker soul trader in Ireland. So luckily, I haven't found being a woman has impacted me too much in the furry fandom, but I do think that is partially because my name has essentially my pronouns in it. So it's kind of a warning thing. I think the biggest part, like, it's affected me, is just I would go to furry meetups or furry chat rooms, and most of them are guys. And that's no problem for me. I just find it like, it's always nice to find more girls to talk to, but I've kind of grown up with guys being like a big part of my friend group ever since I was young, so it's kind of comforting to me. But I do think females and women are very underrepresented. One area I suppose it has affected me a little bit, just a silly one, is if you go on like furry artist apps and websites and you search up like YCH because you're like, hey, I want to treat myself, I want to get some art of my character. You'll see a lot of YCHs, I find at least, will be like male only, male only, male only, and that gets very frustrating. Like, it's fair enough, artists can choose whatever body type they want, and if 70% of the fandom is male, it makes sense to cater for them, but like, I suppose that's just the main thing. You wouldn't see as many furry artists dedicated to just drawing furry girls, which is why I really do love artists such as Chai Tea Kitten on Twitter, who specifically draws a lot of furry girls. Another aspect of the furry fandom, like being a woman and all that I do notice is, like, obviously the default persona is just like a pancake chest. No chest whatsoever, no boobas. As soon as you have any chest on your character, everyone will assume it's a sexual character. And I do think automatically assuming a character with boobs is going to be very lewd and that the person is going to be lewd is a very bad take to make, because some people just have a big chest. And, that's just biology. Not everything needs to be sexualized, like, in that regard. If you do have a lewd character, that's grand. More power to you. Do whatever you like. Just don't automatically assume that because someone's character might have some little bumps on their chest that they are automatically NSFW. I think that's an automatic assumption I see a lot online when it comes to female presenting furry characters. So, I do not consider myself disabled. I, for a time in the past, was extremely limited in what I could do because I was dealing with a condition known as chronic idiopathic urticaria, which meant I had a rash that would go all over my body from my scalp to my toes. And it wasn't just a rash, it would like raise up like blisters, and it meant I couldn't wear any tight clothing. And tight clothing also then went on to mean I couldn't work with my hands for a long time because I'd be like wearing tight clothing if I was trying to hold a pair of scissors for an hour. It meant I was extremely limited as well, just not being able to wear a uniform, not being able to work on anything for long periods of time. I was also not able to eat a lot of things that would have nutritionally benefited me at the time because we didn't know what was wrong with me. It could have been an allergy. I got loads of tests done, everything came back negative. Thankfully, it eventually went away. Touch wood, it stays away. But I do think for that time, like, I was very limited in what I could do. I don't know if I'd class myself as disabled, but I was under extreme restrictions in that regard. Other things I would have to deal with, that a lot of like women in the fandom might have to deal with as well, depending, is endometriosis. So I was told in the last like 2 years, like I do deal with very severe pains that would leave me bedridden for essentially a week. I suppose like then other than that, if I'm being real for a moment, I suppose anxiety. I used to have very bad anxiety. Thankfully, it's a lot better now. And actually, the furry fandom helped me overcome a lot of my anxiety issues. When I first got into the furry fandom, I made a Sona called Zephyr. And I had terrible social anxiety. I was very scared to talk to people. I was very scared to say anything, do anything. And so I made Zephyr as an extension of myself I made her more outgoing than I was, essentially. I was like, I'm going to roleplay as her, and hopefully one day I can be as brave as her. I did make her a little bit of a dumbass, but that was kind of freeing for me. And I do think she helped me get out of my shell so much, and the furry fandom is largely to thank for that. My main Sona right now is Mimi, who you're seeing on the screen potentially. And Zephyr is still very near and dear to my heart. And I will fursuit her occasionally, but I do think Mimi more represents who I am as a person in the fandom right now. That's why I gave her more feminine qualities as well, talking about women in fandom. I made her curvy. I made her to more represent my true body type. Because I wanted something that just felt closer to me. I wanted to show off, yeah, I'm a woman and I am a furry. And that's why I made Mimi. Oh yes, well, I go by Lady Nightlight on everything. I have a Linktree that is usually linked on most of my bios. But yeah, Lady Nightlight on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. If you want to hear news about my works, first and foremost, I have an open Discord group chat called the Lady Nightlight Lair, and I've got a Telegram group chat, again called the Lady Nightlight Lair. With a Linktree, feel free to join. I'd love to see you in there.
Hello, Mieno The Badger. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Mieno The Badger. I am from the Netherlands. I've been in the fandom for about 10 or 11 years, and I've been through to several conventions. This year I've been to Furry Week in Holland, planning to go to Castlefest, Dutch Comic Con. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities to perhaps meet.
That is awesome, and yeah, I have bumped into you on various of those conventions, and you're always quite a life of a party. But could you tell us a little bit about your experience as a woman in the fandom?
My experiences as a woman in the fandom, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes got like negative comments, but for me personally, I gained many friends. The fandom was very accepting towards me, and I really bloomed as a person thanks to the fandom. So I do owe a lot to the fandom, and that makes me the person that I am now.
Oh, that is so awesome to hear. Do you have any recommendation for women who are new to the fandom?
I would look for spaces where women gather. Like, there's been plans on conventions to have women exclusive events or panels. I would search those out, because it can be pretty rough as a woman in the fandom, and I would advise to search for like-minded people and surround yourself with people that can support you, and just have a lot of fun with the people around you and just have fun in the fandom.
That is indeed the right way to do it. Thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us on this little episode, and I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, no problem, and until next time.
All right, have a good one.
So Gyny, tell us who you are and how you got started in the fandom.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Gyny Beats, and I got started the furry fandom back in 2019. That's around the time when I decided to fully dive into this fluffy pile. So my experience as a woman in the fandom for the past handful of years has been very interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I could pinpoint anything that would separate me as a woman from a man's experience in the fandom. Other than like, I see the fandom really taking away the gender norms and like gender separation within the fandom. I don't see that very much at all, and that is something I really appreciated throughout my time in the fandom.
Do you consider yourself to be disabled? If so, in what way?
Yeah, I consider myself to be disabled. As you can see with my eyes, one of my eyes is pasty blue with no pupil, and in fact, that is how my real eyes are. I was born with a condition called coloboma staphylomas, which is a long fancy word, it's a long couple of fancy words with, in short, meaning that a layer of my eye is underdeveloped and my retina is millimeters thin. So I've had a few eye surgeries growing up in the past. And so yeah, I'm legally blind in my left eye, and the pasty blue part, that's from something called a calcium deposit. I've tried to get it, surgically removed, but it just keeps coming back, and doctors are just like, hey, it's not hurting her, let's not mess with it.
And with having this disability in mind, do you think that your involvement, so to speak, in the fandom has been impacted by it?
has my disability affected my involvement in the fandom? I think so. I think it has allowed me to be able to be open to other furries with disabilities and be able to help them where I can. I think that I don't think that I have seen any but I don't think I've seen any part of the fandom that would hinder me with being disabled, for myself anyway. I would say it's more so connected me to other furries who are disabled. Other furries, say like Nalu the catfish from TikTok. And I know that she's blind in one eye as well. So I would say it being disabled has humbled me within the fandom.
That's a very raw experience, and thank you for sharing, because I know you've been open about it before in the past, so it's quite nice to still be able to have this conversation. Because I know many people wouldn't be open to discussing it, so thank you for sharing your experience in that respect.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was born like this. Baby, I was born this way. And it's just my normal. Whereas you can see with two eyes, I have always only ever seen out of one eye. I have when I'm in fursuit, I have to look and I have to keep my head turned a certain way when I'm walking, so that way I can see a whole lot better where I'm going. My vision in my fursuit is a whole lot more blocked off than the normal person in fursuit. But yeah, I have no issue talking about it. If anybody ever wants to DM me and ask questions who can relate, then they certainly can. And I have no issue with starting up a discussion over it.
So what would you say to ladies of any description who are joining the fandom or looking into it and thinking, this may not be the place for me? What would you say to them?
I would say give it a try. You never know you like something until you actually, give it your best shot. For many years, I was what I considered to be an outsider looking in. I was just an observer for a handful of years, but the moment that I decided to give it a try and jump in, it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. I've made some of the most amazing friends, an amazing support group as well. I think just give it a try, and if you don't like it, that's totally fine.
So, Gyny, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yes, there's something I would like to share. I wanted to extend a thank you to the furry fandom. During this year has been an incredibly difficult for me. Little trigger warning for a quick little second, just a little 5-second trigger warning. Earlier this year, I was a victim of domestic violence, and the furry fandom came to my aid in a very heartwarming way. My friend Hun the Hound, he organized GoFundMe, which is still live, by the way, if anybody wants to go and donate. Still, so many furries showed their love and support. Thabu as well. Thabu helped to spread word about the GoFundMe, and he shared his support, and I really appreciated him for that. I just wanted to say a thank you to this fandom. It has made me so much stronger during this experience that I've been going through, and right now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm growing and I'm thriving, and I wouldn't be here without the furry fandom. I swear. I just wanted to send a thank you to everybody, and to anybody who may be who may be thinking that maybe they may be going through the same thing. If they feel like they may be dealing with domestic violence or abuse, whether it's from a romantic partner, a friendship, a parent, any kind of relationship that you're in, if you feel like you might be going through these things, please do not wait until blood and bruises happen. Do not wait until that. If you are truly feeling like somebody is taking advantage of you in that sort of way, leave before it gets any worse. Because unfortunately, that's what I did. I waited 7 years before I finally left. And when I did leave, blood and bruises were involved. And I should have left a whole lot sooner. So, and if your friends are seeing your relationship and telling you that this is not good for you, maybe try to see from your friend's perspective and don't ignore it. Please don't ignore it. So, and if anybody out there wants to DM me, who wants to hear my experience and would like to confide in me and what they're going through, you can please hit me up and I will support you however I can. So I want to get back to this fandom for helping me. I want to help you. So that's all I want to say for the end of this. Thank you so much to the furry fandom for everything y'all have done for me.
Thank you for sharing, Gyny. It's been a pleasure to chat with you again.
Hi, my name is Loz. I'm currently wearing one of my fursuits, Vendetta. She is a punk mink. I have another fursuit that I made a year ago, Cassette the Wolf. I've been a furry probably about 8 years now. I was still in school when I became one. My pronouns are she, her, and he, him, but I'm mostly female presenting.
Brilliant. So, how did you get started in the fandom?
How did I get started? Oh, probably the online presence of just like seeing the art everywhere, and I was very much a Tumblr kid. I'm not ashamed to say. So I was exposed to quite a lot of different furry artists, and also cosplay. When I first discovered what cosplay was, I saw people fursuiting, and I thought, oh, that's cool. I want to do that. So here I am now.
And as they say, the rest is history.
Exactly.
Indeed. So, being a woman in the fandom, what has your experience been like so far?
I'd say most of my interactions come from people online and connecting with people and that sort of thing. As a woman, I would say personally okay, but I feel like I'm not getting I feel like the furry fandom is very cis male dominated, and as a woman I feel like I don't get the attention as like an artist and creator that I feel like I should be getting, but I'm only starting out with it, so.
Real. And have you been to many furry events, meets, conventions, etc.?
As for going in person and meeting up with furry people, I've been going to Scouse Furs for the last 3 years since I went to Liverpool for university, and my first ever furry convention was Anther Irish last year.
So have you heard of things like female furs, females in fandom, etc.? Have you been to any of the events before, and would you like to attend in the future?
I haven't, no, but I would love to in the future. Where are they based?
So Female Furs is typically a panel that's held in some EU and UK conventions. And it's about females in the furry fandom, as the title may say. As they say, it does what it says in the tin. And sometimes they gather and discuss different bits and pieces. Sometimes they just have a chat. I don't personally attend myself, but I do hear for those who do attend, they find it quite refreshing.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to attend in future events.
I mentioned in the sister version of the episode, Dealing with Positivity, the last episode of it came out, about sanitary products and items being available at conventions and events and stuff. Have you ever seen period poverty mentioned at either a furry or a non-furry event?
At Irish, there were products available and signs in the bathrooms, and they were gender neutral, which I found really helpful. It was quite nice to see, actually, but other than that, the events that I have attended, no mention at all of any sanitary products or.
Is there any changes, I suppose, you would like to see in the fandom, specifically revolving around women in the fandom?
I suppose just a general overall feeling of appreciation, because it seems like a lot of females in the fandom, or female presenting people in the fandom, are like the artists that produce the badges and produce fursuits and that sort of thing. And it just kind of, all the attention, fair enough, goes to the wearers of those artistic products, but I don't know, I guess the female creators kind of get lost in the crowd. and don't get the credit they deserve. So it would be nice to see in future a lot more appreciation for the artistic talents of those women.
And is there any women in the fandom who you would say inspire you or you take inspiration from?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Brilliant. And are they artists? Are they fursuiters? What's their speciality?
There are a couple of fursuiters that I really love, and artists in general. A lot of them are UK based as well.
So, what would your advice be to women who are joining the fandom?
Don't give up, really. It does feel a bit crushing when you don't get the same attention, it seems, as like male creators or other creators. Sometimes it will be hard, and sometimes there is a lot of negativity in the fandom towards women and women presenting people. But honestly, all I can say is just to never give up. There will always be people in the fandom and outside that will understand what you're going through. And if you're an artist or a fursuit maker or anything, just keep working hard at what you're doing, because you are worth it. And those people and the friends you make will help support you, and yeah.
Brilliant, fabulous. Thank you.
But thank you so much for interviewing me.
And our next guest for Digging Up Positivity is Khatir, a very awesome fursuit builder. Hello! And awesome event organizer from the Netherlands, prominent figure at Fuzzbuds, and also one of the staff from Reference. Welcome to the show. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Here, I am a fursuit maker, as Sab already stated. I am in the furry fandom for about 8 years or so, and this is a suit I made myself. Good question. What's more to tell about me? Not very much, to be honest. I also do art. I like doing art, and I'm also popular. I'm also doing stuff on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but with organizing events, and you're being a very big person in the Dutch community, could you tell us a little bit about your experience as a woman in the fandom, and especially in a high position like a moderator, like a pillar of the community?
I don't really say I'm a big person. I don't really think I'm very noticed at all. But as a woman, I don't really see a lot of problems with it in the fandom. Yeah, there aren't a lot of women in the fandom. Actually, one of our events, we actually checked the stats for it, and only 10% were women. The rest were all men. And that was on an event of about 50 people.
Oh.
So 5 of them were women.
That is not much, but if you are new to the fandom as a woman, do you have any recommendations for them to find their little groove in this wonderful fandom?
I don't think you really need some advice for that. Like, you're a man, you're a woman. It doesn't really matter as long as you have fun in the fandom.
All right.
You should accept everyone for who they are.
Okay. Well, that is indeed quite different from what you're hearing online. And but just stay yourself and find your little place. And how did you find your friends, if I may ask?
Well, this is kind of a long story. Let's just say it started out with my ex. And he called me a fucking furry. I googled it. And I went to Alternative. It's a convention in the Netherlands that doesn't really exist anymore. And there I threw a handball at one of my now friends. I didn't know them at the time, so we shared socials, we started talking, and now we go to conventions and meetings all the time together.
Oh wow, that is indeed shorter than I imagined. Well,
yeah. I'm not gonna make a big story out of it.
Okay. But it is really you're being too humble, because everywhere I go I see you as a moderator at one of the bigger conventions, at one of the big events and such. Did you ever experience things different as a woman other than from the other furs?
Yes. On some conventions, I noticed that a lot of the women's stuff was actually filtered out and was replaced by other kind of not safe for work events. And besides that, I don't really notice it, because most of my friends are men, and I don't really mind. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your insight. It's certainly different from the others, but then again, everybody's unique in their own way. Thank you very much for having your time to interview, and especially on this very, very warm day. So have a good one.
Well, I'm sweaty.
Okay. I don't like talking about me. So yeah, I'm old. I'm 50, nearly 53 years old. I am born with a disability called spina bifida. If you translate it in a normal language, it's the open back. So I'm literally born with a hole in my spine. I did a panel about this at NFC, but I don't remember anything out of it because I was super sick at this con. And I did a panel at Eurofurence 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago, and it is on Kidwana Alliance channel. So it was recorded and it's on Kidwana's channel. Because since I joined the fandom, I have people, of course, coming up and asking, hey, by your sitting, I mean, my disability is obvious, I can't hide it. So people come up and ask me. But I also have had people in the background talking to their friends and say, I would love to talk to her, but I'm afraid I make her sad or depressed or angry or whatever. And so for me, this was a chance to give these people a chance to come into my panel and listen to the things I have to say, and having a positive outlook. I think for me, I get this question quite often, of course. But for me, the only answer and the always answer I will give is, you only have two options in your life. You know, you can put your head down and cry all day about the things you can't do and you maybe won't be able to do ever, or you try to make the best out of what you have. And of course, putting down your head would be the easiest option you would have. But what is the outcome? The outcome would be you sit in a corner, circling around your mind, day in and day out. You get depressed and you will be alone, because who wants to deal with a person that is constantly in a bad mood? Nobody. And being positive and to fight is the harder way, of course, but it's definitely the better way. Look at me, for example. I joined the fandom in 2018, on June 15 to be exact. And since this moment, I have had so many wonderful moments experienced. I have met so many amazing people, including you, for example. And I wouldn't have this if I would be sitting in a corner depressed and sad about the things I can't. Of course, I can't climb a mountain. I can't swim, etc. There are many things I can't. but what I can do. And this was one of the reasons to start streaming back then, is to show people, no matter how hard your life is and no matter what life is throwing at you, just grab it and make the best out of it. I just try to be me. I just try to give back the positivity. So hugging fursuiters, for example, gives me a lot. And I just want to give back. Because the fandom gives me so much, you know. It's amazing. And if you talk about the difference between Berlin and Hamburg, for example, I had so many women I talked to last year at Eurofurence telling me, hey, I'm so glad we are in Hamburg now, I feel so much safer. And for this alone, the move to Hamburg was the best we could do. I want the people to be safe in the fandom. And you hear so many bad things about conventions in the States, for example. And we have some issues here and there as well, but not as strong and bad. At least from what I hear. So, and I hope the European fandom will stay this way. So hi, my name is Terkina. Thank you for watching me on Digging Up Positivity. I hope you liked this session, and I hope to see you maybe on my Twitch channel or at a convention. I love you guys. Thank you for being nice to me. And thank you for having me in the fandom.
First of all, thank you kindly for staying with us till the very end of this longer than usual episode. I would like to express a special thank for Ink to help me with these month's interviews, and I hope that you all liked it. If you would like to see more similar content, do let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback. But one other thing that I promised as well, I would pick someone from the comment section of last month who is able to pick something from the Pause collection in my artwork T-store. Alex Lexi. Please do contact me through my Linktree so I can verify some things and we can send you the stuff. But please do so before the next episode goes live. Of course, if you want to check out my artwork T-stores, by all means. But there are other ways to support me as well. Besides the usual liking and subscribing, you can go to Subscribestar, my Twitch channel or my Patreon and become a channel member like these amazing people. From Subscribestar we have Matic, Cosmic with a K, Taros, Hanzana and Scorechaser. And our YouTube members are Lorek Bernison, 086, Longtooth and Whiffer. On Patreon we have Tentru McNally, Ishnula and Els Dekkers. And my current Twitch subscribers are Ayabu Yin, Falconeo, Jake RG, Svex the Mischievous Fox, Aurapuff, Droan Starbear, Duwali, Jans de Trekgans, Marcel Kopperson and Ishnula. The next episode of Digging Up Positivity will be on June 29th, and I see you around and all the hugs.